66 minutes. 66 agonizing, goalless minutes, and Senegal, against every expectation, had shut out the most dangerous attacking lineup on the planet. Then Kylian Mbappé took one touch, cut inside, and bent an absolute rocket into the top left corner. The net shook. The records fell. And by the time the final whistle blew at MetLife Stadium, the entire footballing world had witnessed something historic. France 3-1 Senegal, and 2 world records shattered before anyone had time to catch their breath. Welcome to SoccerVault, the sharpest, most passionate soccer breakdown channel on YouTube. Let's get into this one properly, because there is so much to unpack. This match came loaded with history before a single ball was kicked. Cast your mind back to 2002, Japan, and South Korea, when a young Senegalese side walked out for the opening group game of that World Cup and handed France, the reigning champions, one of the biggest upsets the tournament has ever seen. 1-0. A moment that still lives in Senegalese football folklore. Kalidou Koulibaly, the veteran captain who has seen it all, knew exactly what this match represented. He marshaled his backline with the authority of a man who was not going to let the occasion pass without a statement. France, meanwhile, arrived in New Jersey carrying their own weight. They are perennial favorites who have come heartbreakingly close in recent tournaments without delivering the ultimate prize since 2018. Didier Deschamps named a bold, attacking starting 11, Mbappé spearheading the attack, Michael Olise cutting in from the right, Adrien Rabiot anchoring the midfield, with Antoine Griezmann pulling the strings behind. On paper, unstoppable. On the pitch, for 45 minutes, completely stifled. Senegal set up in a deep, disciplined 4-4-2 low block. 2 compact banks of 4. 0 space in behind. Koulibaly reading every French run before it even started. France had 58% of the ball in the first half. They recycled, they probed, they tried the switch, the 1-2, the diagonal, and they created almost nothing of note. The MetLife crowd grew restless. In press boxes across New Jersey, people started reaching for their 2002 notebooks. Let's break down exactly how Senegal managed to neutralize France for that first half, because the tactical discipline was genuinely impressive. First, the width. Senegal's wingers tracked back to form a flat defensive unit, eliminating the space France usually exploits on the overlap. Whenever Olise or the left-sided attacker received the ball, a Senegalese midfielder was already closing before they could turn. Second, the press trigger. Instead of pressing high, Senegal waited. They let France have the ball in their own half, invited possession, then hit a structured mid-block press the moment a France player faced their own goal. This confused Rabiot and forced him into sideways passes rather than penetrating runs. Third, Koulibaly's reading of Mbappé. He did not follow Mbappé out of the center, which would have opened gaps. Instead, he held his position and let a cover shadow deal with the runs. Mbappé barely had a sniff in the first 45 minutes. Deschamps saw enough at halftime to make changes, not personnel, but shape. He pushed Rabiot higher and brought Olise tighter into the center, effectively shifting France into a 4-2-3-1. The 2 holding midfielders gave more security. Olise now functioned as a shadow striker, a second option the Senegalese center-backs could not track without leaving space open. The second half was a completely different match. France pressed higher, pressed earlier, and within 20 minutes had created 4 genuine opportunities that simply hadn't existed in the first 45. And then the moment the world had been waiting for. 66 minutes. Mbappé collects the ball 30 yards from goal, shimmies past a challenge, and drives a bending left-footed shot into the top left corner. The goalkeeper gets nowhere near it. 1 touch, 1 decision, 1 extraordinary finish, and a game that felt like it might end goalless is suddenly alive. 1-0 France. The stadium erupts, and Mbappé. He barely celebrated. He turned, pointed at the badge, and jogged back to halfway like he had all the time in the world. That composure tells you everything about where his head is at this World Cup. Then it gets absolutely wild. 2 minutes later, 68 minutes, Deschamps throws on Bradley Barcola. The substitute hadn't even loosened his hamstrings before the ball finds him in the penalty area. One touch, side foot finish, bottom corner, 2-0. Barcola scores within 60 seconds of stepping onto the pitch. The MetLife crowd cannot believe what they're watching. France are in cruise control. The game seems settled. Senegal, to their enormous credit, refused to accept the inevitable. 90 plus 5 minutes. Ibrahim Mbappé, unmarked at the edge of the area, which was frankly inexcusable defending from France, produces a stunning curling effort that clips the inside of the post and nestles in. 2-1. A beautiful consolation for Senegal. You have to admire the spirit. But here's Mbappé again. 60 seconds later, 90 plus 6 minutes. Ball played to his feet. 3 Senegalese defenders. It does not matter. He drives through them and puts the ball in the net. 3-1. Game over. Record broken. Let me say something that might be unpopular right now while everyone is celebrating Mbappe's records. France's first-half performance was alarming. Not because Senegal outplayed them, they didn't, but because we have seen this pattern too many times with this French squad. They hoard possession. They look beautiful on the ball. They keep things tidy. And then they hit a wall against any team that sets up compactly, and they cannot find the key. A lineup of that quality, Mbappé, Olise, Griezmann, should not go into halftime goalless against any team in this tournament. With the greatest respect to Senegal, the French should have unlocked that defense before the hour mark. If they meet Argentina or Brazil in the knockout rounds with those first-half tactics, they get punished. Deschamps knows this. The second-half tactical adjustment showed he saw it too. But the problem needs fixing before it becomes a crisis, not just patching at halftime. France's real test has not arrived yet, and when it does, the first-half version of this team will not survive it. Group 1 is starting to take shape fast. France sit top with 3 points. Senegal need to regroup immediately. Their next match is a near must-win situation. Norway face Iraq later tonight with Erling Haaland leading the line. If Haaland fires, Norway become a genuine threat to everyone in this group. France cannot afford to sleepwalk through the next 90 minutes of their next match the way they did in the first half today. Elsewhere, Argentina's Messi, who now trails Mbappé by 1 goal in the all-time World Cup scoring chart, faces Algeria later tonight. That rivalry for the Golden Boot is going to define a narrative running through this entire tournament. Every goal from those two will send shockwaves. Keep your eyes on Group 1. It is going to be incredible. France are alive. Mbappé is making history. And this World Cup 2026 is only getting warmer. If you want the fastest, sharpest soccer breakdowns on YouTube, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and drop your takes in the comments right now. Is Mbappé already the greatest World Cup performer of all time, or does Ronaldo's record still edge it? I want your hottest takes. See you in the next breakdown. This is SoccerVault, and we are just getting started.